Stephen A. Smith back in the news, and the old insecure, jealous one, he just can't stop. He is trying to do what others have done, and it usually works out when you're talented. And Smith, by all accounts, pretty talented. I mean, at least he is kind of the workhorse at ESPN. And if you're going to pay a lot of other people a lot of money, might as well pay Smith a lot of money. But very few people do what Smith does. He's kind of going the Ryan Clark route, where he is promoting and promoting and promoting and talking and talking and talking, about his salary. One of the interesting things about Smith is I never knew what Bob Knight made. I was thinking about that. He had to be one of the highest highest paid coaches in the country. Never knew what he made. I never knew what anybody at ESPN made. And then all of a sudden, post George Floyd, ESPN's Jimmy Pitaro et al., well, they lost. They lost control of the company, and they went a-begging. And they went and got Pat McAfee, and then they told everybody how much they paid Pat McAfee. They went and got Joe Buck, and they went and told everybody how much they paid Joe Buck. They went and got Troy Aikman. They went and told everybody how much they paid Troy Aikman. You used to never know. It was always sort of kind of a guess, and maybe people could look it up. I'm not smart enough in the ways of the world, but I guess you could, but seemingly nobody did. I never worried about it when I was working there, and now that they have lost control over the asylum, the crazy people are running the asylum, and the crazy people like Shannon Sharp are talking about beating teammates up. The crazy people like Stephen A. Smith are telling everybody how much they want to make and exposing themselves as jealous clowns. And don't think for a second there isn't an incredible jealousy between Stephen A. Smith and what Pat McAfee is doing. It's driving him crazy. You ever see Stephen A. Smith on Pat McAfee's show? Oh, hell no. Hell no. You ever see McAfee on Stephen A. Smith's show? Oh, hell no. And oops, I could have had a Fresca. They're not on the same time. What? No, they're not. So, having said that, let's dive in. It's been weeks, I say, since the news broke that we're all waiting on. It's akin to the white smoke coming out of the Vatican, knowing we've got a new pope. We must know, at least according to Stephen A. Smith and his little minions over at ESPN, when Stephen A. Smith has signed a contract. It's been weeks since the news broke that Smith has agreed on a new deal with ESPN, but Smith continues to insist it's not finished. See, here is the deal. Kindness is weakness to folk like Stephen A. Smith or me, certainly when it comes to contract negotiation. See, in contract negotiation, people that are trying to bilk you and trying to milk you and trying to get every dime they can, I guess I could have just said that first, like Smith is doing, well, if you give in on something, they're going to want more. And my guess is Smith wants to be a big producer. He wants Stephen A. Smith Productions under something, and that's good for him. The conversation came up this week as Smith joined his guy, Doggy Dog, Mad Dog Chris Russo, Unleashed. It's one of his first take sparring partners, who recently congratulated Smith on air for the deal. Smith called talks with ESPN constructive and beneficial because Smith has big words. Big words, Smith says, but strongly pumped the brakes on the idea that he is locked into a new deal reportedly worth anywhere between 100 to 120 million over 5 years. Hey, man, good for Smith. I don't begrudge nobody for making that kind of green, particularly in this business. My contract's coming up here in a year or two. Yeah, that's right, Gary. 120 million over 4. No, I want to beat Smith. Anyway, talks have been constructive and beneficial, says Smith, but we haven't reached an agreement yet. And until that comes, as far as I'm concerned, I've got 6 months to go to do the best job I possibly can. All right. Smith told Russo per deadline, before again refuting the deal would reach 120. Hey, man, good for him and bad for ESPN. ESPN needed Pat McAfee. It did. ESPN needed Pat McAfee and needed Pat McAfee bad. And I've said this, they needed a younger, hipper, cooler personality. They did. They needed somebody to infuse game day, and they did. And Pat McAfee was that guy, and he's done it exceedingly well. Now, Smith, in the post-George Floyd era, where ESPN has hired every African-American that it can possibly find, from shaved head folks to Shay Shay. Well, if they really wanted to hold the line in business deals, they would say to Mr. Smith, this is what you're going to make. We don't really need you. You don't infuse life into the shows that you do. Certainly First Take could continue on. Maybe not as good. Maybe you change the format. I mean, Mike and Mike changed. NBA Countdown or whatever you call it is being replaced. I mean, if you really think about it. And what does Smith do for football? Nothing. He yells, he screams, he talks about the Dallas Cowboys. But if I were sitting in one of those big offices, top floor building for ESPN, I'd say to Stephen A. Smith, we love you. We know we've resurrected your career when you got fired from everything. We know you backstabbed Skip Bayless, but you ain't worth this. And if you don't like the deal that we're going to give you, you are very popular. You have crossed over now a bit into politics where you have become the Republicans' go-to guy for racial stuff. See, look at our friend over here. He's become that guy for the Republicans. You know what I'm talking about. Well, I would say to Smith, good for you. Great for you. We're happy for you. You go ahead and be a political guy if you don't want our deal. And I would make a fair deal. I wouldn't make an exorbitant deal. I wouldn't make a McAfee buck kind of a deal because Smith can be replaced. They tried a bunch of folks on Monday Night Football. And in their mind, it didn't work. People got mad. Remember McFarlane with the Booger Mobile? People lost their mind. So they found it. They went, they got it. And they paid it. Buck and Aikman. Well, that's not Smith. What does Smith do? Host a show that in the middle of the day might make some money. If it does, that's a bonus. Host a countdown show for the NBA that really is being replaced. You tell me. What does he do? But this isn't the way executives think. This isn't the way athletic directors think in colleges. They think like, oh my God, if I let Smith go, I'm going to have a race war on my hands. Well, it wouldn't happen because here's what would happen. Every African-American dude and woman at ESPN would be lining up immediately. They would text Smith and say, hey, sorry, man, that sucks. I hate ESPN. And the next text would be to Jimmy Patera to try to get that job. That's the way it works, white, black, in every sport. Jim Larinaga, I'll get to him in a minute. He left Miami. Jim, we're really sorry. God, hey, who are they going to hire? That's the way it is. Smith says the money does matter, but the money is there. That's not the issue. For me personally, there are a lot of other things that I want to do. Then go do them. See, I would be a bad executive. I would be like, go do them. Hey, we're giving you all the freedom in the world to do Stephen A. Smith politics, Stephen A. Smith production, Stephen A. Smith whatever. Go do them. No problem. And I want the freedom to do it. Let me put it to you this way. If I'm paying somebody $120 million over 5 years, if I'm paying you $20 to $30 million a year, you ain't doing shit. I mean, you ain't doing nothing but what I'm paying you for. And if you don't like that, and this is not the way athletic directors in college, nor is this the way executives at ESPN think, if you don't like that, man, the woods is full with all kind of other people. It's like I used to tell my kids, girl broke up with you, guy broke up with you, big deal. Look around the corner. There's another one right there. Life's too short to deal with morons. Life's too short to deal with ego. Life's too short to deal from playing defense. Don't do it. ESPN will, though. Just like all these ADs. I said it before. Remember Archie Miller came to Indiana from Dayton? He's making like $1 million. Indiana gave him like $3 million. My thing is, why would you give him $3 million? I'll give you $1.2 million, or you can stay your ass at Dayton. Stephen A. Smith, I'll give you money. All right, fine. But all this other nonsense ain't happening. You don't want it? Stay your ass in your production company. Stay your ass on Fox. Stay your ass wherever your ass lands. But they don't think that way. Only I think that way. We live in a different world, and being able to diversify your portfolio, I love him, and do things outside of that one job where they're paying you $120 million. and you may have is incredibly important to me. So because that is of importance to me, that's the kind of thing that we have to work out. And good for him. Somehow, some way, and we all know why, it's the threat of being called racist. It's the whole race thing. Stephen A. Smith has finagled himself into a position where even though he is literally a one-trick pony, get on TV, yell and scream, and that's it. That's it. And it doesn't play in the biggest thing that he does, which is the NBA. But they're too stupid to understand that. No, they're not too stupid. They understand that. They know he's that. But they also are too afraid. The big R word. Racist. You're a racist. If you don't sign Stephen A. Smith, that's the only reason. You know, back a few years ago, Jim Larrañaga was the head coach at Miami. And he had done a terrific job after he left Bowling Green. I followed Jim Larrañaga at Bowling Green. He was getting fired at Bowling Green, and then his son and a player named Antonio Daniels saved him. Had a good year. Larrañaga got the hell out of Bowling Green. Some saw it as a lateral move going to George Mason, but I know what he was doing. He was getting the hell out. He had been middling. He goes to George Mason and just did an incredible job. 2006, he goes to the NCAA Final Four, beat the powerhouse of Jim Calhoun's UConn Huskies along the way, gets out of there, and in the funniest move ever, he goes to Miami, but that's not the funny move. Jim Larrañaga, an Italian, put that little schwa thing over an N in his name. So now like he's down with being Cuban because he's Miami. He's a chameleon. He's one of the biggest chameleons you'll ever find, and he did a wonderful job resurrecting Miami of Florida's basketball program. It had sat there. But NIL came. And you know what Jim Larrañaga did? Jim Larrañaga had a guy named John Ruiz. John Ruiz set the bar for NIL. John Ruiz paid kids $400,000. He set the bar. The bar was set by John Ruiz working on a couple of kids. I'll give you their names. One, Isaiah Wong. The other, Nigel Pack. $400,000 a few years ago was like, oh my God, holy hell, what are we doing? Pack was a kid, nondescript somewhat, from Indianapolis who had gone, I believe, to Kansas State. So Wong and Pack come over with a number of other John Ruiz products that were bought and paid for. And next thing you know, voila, NIL is set, prices are set. Larrañaga has set them. All the while, oops, there was a federal investigation. Larrañaga actually thought he was going to jail. And if you looked at Larrañaga during that federal investigation, that included one of his coaches, you would see that he looked whiter than me. Although I'm pretty tan right now because of the sun, whiter than the walls behind me. So Larrañaga survived that. He started paying players, or he did, and John Ruiz did, through a system called NIL, name, image, and likeness, which is basically, look, I don't give a damn about your name, image, and likeness. Who's paying you what? Miami's paying, I'm paying. Who can pay more? You're coming. John Ruiz set that. It worked. Miami went to the NCAA Final Four. Jim Larrañaga now had taken two teams, George Mason, not a traditional power, and Miami of Florida, not a traditional power, to the Final Four. The man was a star. All of a sudden now at 72, 75 years old, Jim Larrañaga, a year and a half after the 2023 Final Four, thinks NIL is bad. Really? You said it. John Ruiz, your guy, whether he's actually your guy or not, who represented your school through you to get you players. You didn't turn them down. You didn't tell Ruiz, hey, I don't want Wong. Yeah, I don't want Pack. You didn't turn them down. You set the bar, Jim Larrañaga. You did. Ruiz did. Miami did. And now, wait, what? The 75-year-old is leaving his post as head coach, saying the new landscape of college basketball with the portal has become too much. Larinaga a great chameleon, man. Oh, is he good? He really is. He's unbelievable. Here's Larinaga talking about it.
I loved the game and I loved the university that much. I felt like, okay, there's one thing you got to constantly ask yourself. Are you going to give everything you have, the commitment that it deserves, 100% of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, but I'm exhausted. I've tried every which way to keep this going. And I know I'm going to be asked a lot of questions, but I want to answer them before I'm even asked. What shocked me beyond belief was after we made it to the Final Four just 18 months ago, the very first time I met with the players, 8 of them decided they were going to put their name in the portal and leave. I said, don't you like it yet? No, I love it. I love Miami. It's great. But the opportunity to make money someplace else created a situation that you have to begin to ask yourself as a coach, what is this all about? And the answer is it's become professional.
Well, you made it professional. You're the guy. You're literally the guy. Nobody ever heard of paying Wayne Peck or Andre Peck or Anthony Peck or whoever Peck $400,000. Any player. But you did. John Ruiz and you and your program did. Now, you're not going to hear this on any other program because what you're going to hear is, whoa, one of the best to ever do it. And he was terrific. Oh, my God, he did that. Okay, great. Yes, terrific. Wonderful. However, that's bullshit. That's the Larinaga I know. That's the chameleon. What do I need to be today? I need to be Cuban. Okay, put that little thing over an end. We're going down south. You started this, literally. And now you're bitching about it? Hold the phone here. Does it have anything to do with your 4-18 in your last 22 and those victories are over like Fairleigh Dickinson and Dakich U and University of the South? Does it have anything to do with that? No. No, it has to do with kids running out on your program. You're the same guy that got kids, Wayne Peck, to run out on his program, Isaiah Wong to run out on his program. That didn't bother you. That didn't bother you a lick. No, that didn't bother you. What bothered you was when they ran out on your program, and now it's become professional. Really? So now it's professional. It wasn't professional when you were buying players. What was it then? Amateurism? Was it the Olympics of the 70s? I mean, I'll hang up and listen. What was it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm sitting here going, okay, all right, let me look here. Now, well, did you win some that I didn't see? Is there something going on here? No. You paid Wong, you paid Peck, and now all of a sudden, you know what? I don't like payments. This is what I'm saying. One of the reasons I like not being at ESPN is I really dislike walking into coaches' office and listening to the pious bullshit. And this is pious bullshit. Period. Larinaga, here it is, 274, 173, two-time ACC champ, 6-time. He did a great job. Final Four, lost to UConn in 2023. Terrific. Players that played for him in Bowling Green love him. Terrific. It was full of shit. And you won't hear it anywhere. Never will you hear it. The guy that started it walked out because of it, and everybody's falling in line. That's some funny shit. Hey, speaking of funny shit, grumpy old man Mike Wilbon, who I actually like, is starting to tell us, what real sports fans are. Oh, okay. He believes that the NFL and college football ratings prove that there are no more overall sports fans. I'm one. I watch every day, see what the Cubs are doing. I see what the Pacers are doing. I watch college football. I watch the NFL. What am I supposed to do? And why do you get to judge? But he is on a show. He is a bit of an entertainer. So he does get to judge. Instead, Americans care squarely about football and no other sports. Fair point, or is he reaching? Let me explain something to you. On a random Wednesday night, you go to Wrigley Field, there's 30,000, 40,000 people there. On a random Wednesday night with 81 home games. Random Wednesday night, you go to baseball park, there's a minimum 20,000 people if you're not the Oakland A's. 20,000 people showing up at a baseball park on a Tuesday when there's 80-some games. Now, I don't know. I've said that forever, and I do this. I look at the attendance. Well, it's not real attendance. Yeah, I don't know. It's tickets bought. Okay. Means people cared enough to buy season tickets. Maybe they didn't care enough to come on a particular Tuesday. But I've always said, you guys underestimate baseball big time. It seems to me that there is enough revenue in baseball to pay what's next in baseball. $1 billion to the next 16-year-old that gets good by 20? No. Wilbon's reaching. I get it. I do. See, Wilbon wants people to watch the NBA, and the NBA is starting to want people to watch the NBA, and so they sent out a memo. They sent out a memo to the players. I'll get to that in a minute. But Wilbon, like many others that grew up around the NBA, saw the declining ratings that OutKick first started and said, yo, we got to do, people are just fans of one thing. They're not well-rounded. Give us a product, we'll watch. There are no more overall sports fans, the arrogant one says from DC. People follow one thing. That's all they have bandwidth for. They follow maybe a couple teams, or maybe they follow all football, but they're not sports fans. Okay. You talk to people now in each town, there are sports fans who will follow all the teams in their place, but not like when we grew up. Well, I would bet you money that Wilbon hasn't talked to a single regular human sports fan in 30 years. He may talk to a columnist. He may talk to some writer. He may talk to some hairspray. And he hasn't sat around in a bar and talked to real fans in forever. Do that in Chicago, particularly on the South Side. You're going to hear how shitty the Sox are, the Bulls are, the Bears are, and they watch all of them. Do that in Indianapolis on the north side or south side, and you're going to hear how, well, Anthony Richardson sucks. Indiana football is great. What the hell has happened to Indiana basketball? And do you like the Cubs, the Reds, or the St. Louis Cardinals? This is all crapola, but I get it. The old curmudgeon one is trying. They're not sports fans. You talk to people now in each town. They're sports fans who will follow their team in their place, but not like we grew up. They're not that discerning. They want to wave the number one phone finger, drink some beer, watch football. That's what America wants. So that's why our bosses and ESPN and the football people can get together and put anything on. Yeah, I'm not so sure the USFL or the UFL or the TSFL or the Arena League or any of that stuff has really taken off. In fact, I know it hasn't. Now, the ratings are better. And there are those that are going to say, and some have, I don't know if I believe it or not, that over time the WNBA is going to become the summer thing next to baseball. You can disparage baseball all you want. And you could talk about the golden bat being stupid or the blackout rules being idiotic, and I'm down to clown. But the facts of the matter is people are watching. The facts of the matter is people are going. The facts of the matter is networks are paying for baseball. Facts of the matter is the NBA, even though it's absolute garbage, rakes in money hand over fist. I mean, next time you see a contract of somebody any good, it's probably going to be closer to 80, 90 million a year. So yeah, I get it. I get what Wilbon's saying. You used to open up the sports page on Sunday and look at who's batting what from top to bottom. Who's the top? Who's got home runs? Who's got RBIs? Can anybody catch Ralph Garr? And who's at the bottom? Man, Ozzie Smith's not batting 200. You can look that up, too. Before he was traded, Ozzie Smith was like a 170 hitter. Anyway, but he did make the Hall of Fame, and he could do flips. And I loved watching him play. But the facts of the matter, yeah, it's not like it used to be. I suppose it's better. I used to have to wait. No kidding. This is in the mid-'80s. We would play a game, and we'd have to wait for somebody to tell us what happened in a Michigan State game. We were supposed to play Charles Barkley. Now, think about this. In the NCAA tournament, we played the winner. We got a bye. We played the winner of Auburn. Hang on, caller. Auburn-Richmond. We assumed it was going to be Barkley and Chuck Person. Wasn't on TV. Couldn't get it on our TV. Some little guy reporter from Indiana's whatever called and said, hey, Barkley's team lost. Really? Couldn't get it. Think about that. So it's better. You can watch every Big Ten team. You don't have to wait for Michigan State. It's on after your game. You can watch every single NCAA tournament game, probably in 7 different languages. It's better. It's better than it was. Old guys, and I'm one of them. Old guys that tell you it ain't better aren't right. Players are better. Bodies are better. The only thing that's not better is the WNBA or the NBA presentation. Dudes look like chicks and they shoot too many threes. But Mike Wilbon, there you go. Good for him. He is saying what a lot of old guys say. Hey, guess what? Kevin Durant and others got the memo. The memo is the NBA is fantastic. That used to be the slogan. There's 2 things that I remember being a kid when the NBA was all kind of the rage, except it had a drug problem. The NBA is fantastic, and you'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS. And then, of course, they had the horse contest and the one-on-one contest at halftime. Was magnificent. Now the memo went out. Players like Kevin Durant, who literally sits there like this. This is a microphone. That's Kevin Durant's press conferences the last 10 years, ever since he became a star. Now he's claiming he's locked in and wants to help solve the NBA's declining ratings. He admits the league has been going through a rough patch, but that's an unfair place to blame squarely on the players. No, when Kevin Durant sits there like a dipshit doing press conferences, that's all Kevin Durant has done for the last 10 years, right there, 10 years. Now, hey, your ratings suck. You guys suck. The people have spoken. Oh, now I'm locked in. Oh, let's hear Kevin Durant.
This is a day where fans don't have much going on. They all sitting around the tree and fireplace and the kitchen, watching the games together. And, there's nothing there to distract them from watching the games. And, and the NBA emphasizes how special this moment is. They didn't take today for granted. The fans didn't take today for granted. So that's why the viewership is up today, and everybody's more excited to watch basketball today, So it's cool, man. It's a weird dialogue around the league and the viewership, and it's not just. And I see a lot of people blaming the players for it. Something that big is not. It's not just one component of why it's going that way. I feel like it's a lot of different reasons why viewership may be down, but that's another discussion. But today was a step in the right direction and get people excited again for the game of basketball. Hopefully it's not just because it's Christmas. Hopefully they stay invested in the game, investing in each player, each team throughout the rest of the season, not just the playoffs or the finals and games in January. I want to see people, the viewership, I wanted to see it get it back up, So, this league ain't going nowhere, but, we're in a rough patch when it comes to that.
Hey, the moron sat up. Like, I could do a whole litany on. Nay, look at you, Durant. You got your dumb ass off your back, sat up, and acted like a human being. Wow. You got the memo, didn't you, stupid? You did. You got the memo. Good for him. Here's Durant why he thinks the players get blamed for the declining ratings.
On that, why do you think that the blame sort of shifts that way whenever those discussions start to happen, where the blame goes to players or the style of play or whatever instead?
Yeah, I mean, we're most visible. It's easy to, you don't get to see the executives or analytics guys or, the GM. Then you see us. You see us all the time. So it's easy to kind of throw it at us. But man, we make so much money, and people look at us like we can take it. But. Like I said, it's more than just one factor on why this league is great, and it's not just the players why it's just great. It's not just the players why the viewership is not up too. So we all play a part in why the league is what it is. Us in here, people that were in the stands tonight, players on the floor, we all play a part in pushing this league forward.
It seems like it matters to you, like this.
Yeah, it does. I mean, because when you think about it, I mean, I played for a city in Oklahoma City that didn't have an NBA team, and you've seen the impact that an NBA team has on your city and your state. So I know how important that is, and I know how it changes lives and inspires lives, and does a lot for people. So I take this serious, and I'm locked in as to why people don't want to watch us play no more, or why they don't like the 3-point line, or what the real problem is. I'm trying to think about it. Understand it, because I love this game. I want to see it keep growing.
Here's a little more from Durant.
You're playing in your 12th Christmas game, 11th time in your career where you've had 20 or more points on Christmas night as well. How lucky do you feel, as well as how lucky as fans we get to witness not just you, but Steph and LeBron putting up 30-point games on Christmas night at this point in your career?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great talents in this league. I mean, not just us three. You see Jokic tonight. You see a Hall of Famer, an icon, and Russell out here tonight. You see so many great young players around the league today. It was an amazing day for basketball. I'm grateful I was able to play on this great day and entertain the fans and get a win at home. So I'm grateful.
You ain't grateful. You're arrogant and moronic. Come on, who you talking to? There used to be a segment. Who you crapping? Good for Adam Silver. Guarantee you what's going to come out. You could tell. Guarantee it's going to come out that Silver probably didn't send anything in writing, but garnered a call with his lead idiots, LeBron, Durant, and all these other fools, and said, look, morons, you've been acting like children. You've been acting like petulant jackasses to the fans for years. It's time to figure this out, straighten this out, because the league, like boxing back in the day, may be going. It ain't gone. It ain't tomorrow, but it may be going. So get your dumb asses, sit up straight, Durant. Stop acting like a $50 million a year, never won nothing on your own, pain in the ass child. And good for the players. They're $50 million, pain in the ass, entitled, ass kissers all around them, apparently listened. But don't think that didn't happen. Durant has been a jackass sitting there for years and years and years. He's been a whiner, a bitcher, a moaner. He's been a fraud, actually, because he seems and has always, when he wants to, shown himself to be a really nice kid. But all of a sudden, he had to be, again, post-George Floyd, down for the cause and act petulant, which is stupid, and people are tired of it. Good for Durant. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. Indiana University wants white males to apologize and acknowledge they're being oppressors. Hey, oppress this. I got your oppression right here as a white Christian male, Indiana University. Indiana University Catch and Eat offering a course to students that teaches that people are inherently oppressors because of their race, sex, and religion. I got your oppression right here. Fat ass, lesbian, blue-haired teacher. Indiana University is teaching students that they are inherently oppressive because of their race, sex, religion. Documents show. According to the school's website, the course Understanding Diversity in a Pluralistic Society. Boy, is this an Indiana thing. See, Indiana has always been the most liberal place in the Midwest. It's the first time I ever saw two guys kissing in public. I kind of liked it, except I looked and I kept driving. I almost killed 3 people. I was a freshman. According to the school website, the course Understanding Diversity in a Pluralistic Society prompts students to examine theories and models in order to enhance understanding of our diverse society. The course, in quotes, provides content about differences and similarities in the experiences, needs, beliefs of selected minority groups and their relation to the majority group. The Free Beacon first reported that the class instructor, Colleen Rose, prompts students to compose an in-depth reflection of two parts of their identity, one subordinate identity and one dominant identity. The chart explains that subordinate groups are subjected to social oppression by the dominant groups. Those groups, of course, include LGBTQ people, women, religious and ethnic minorities, heterosexual, white, able-bodied people, Christian, and men are dominant groups guilty of social oppression. Here's a social impression for you. Suck it. A student, an anonymous student talking to New York Post said, I am being punished through an assignment for my identity as a person. It's very rich in a class where we are supposed to be talking about identity and not a suppressed identity. I'm forced to suppress my own identity. I have to suppress myself because I'm presumed to be some privileged, horrible human being that didn't grow up without food. That's insane to me. That's Indiana. You don't take Indiana University serious. You don't. Indiana University has tried so hard to be this beacon of bullshit, and they've succeeded over the years. They have. Come on. Indiana University really is an education where if this was a petri dish and you could breathe and you're from the East Coast where you would pay full tuition, or you're from the north side of Chicago where you would pay full out-of-state tuition, if this petri dish had a fog on it, you would get in. That's a fact. I mean, it is funny how they make this sound like it's such a fancy course. That's Indiana. Indiana could make a blue shirt sound like something so important, and it's all bullshit. It's a carnival act. Did you ever see the show Blazing Saddles? In Blazing Saddles, the bad guys were coming back, and Cleavon Little, the sheriff, set up a fake town. Fake town, only the fronts of the town. It's like downtown Indy. There's no businesses post-George Floyd riots in downtown Indy. It's all fake. It's boarded up with murals and pictures to make it look like a building. Well, that's what Indiana University is. Indiana University is a fraud. 90% of the people that went to Indiana University are really good people, and they know what I'm saying is true. You want to party, you go to IU, you go to Kilroy's, you go to sports. You want to watch mediocre basketball, now you go to Indiana. You want to go play and have girls and guys that, you know what, you go to Indiana. But if you want serious education about serious topics, please. The Kelley School of Business is what every little daddy and mommy prides their little children on going on. I've met these Kelley School grads. It's the business school. It's ranked below Purdue's last I looked. Now, I haven't looked this year, which is an abomination because Purdue is the agriculture school, the engineering school. Indiana's supposed to be liberal arts, business. But Indiana will always fuck it up. Indiana has never not fucked. It's what we do at Indiana. If I were going to draw a parallel, let me give you this. You know how Curt Cignetti, the coach at Indiana football, talked so big, so bold, and then when he got in a big game, he fair caught kickoffs. And then when he got in a big game, he punted down 17 in the other team's territory, 4th and 10. It's a fraud, right? No, didn't beat anybody, didn't play anybody. It's a fraud. That's Indiana University. This is all nonsensical bullshit. That's it. Nonsensical bullshit.